You mentioned that 30 times, 9 times.
Good evening, everybody. I'm not doing the music just yet. I just want to say welcome to the Fans Forum, 3-0. It was never in doubt. And here's a little treat for the lads, because they do it all the time. They're on the show every week. They've got their own theme tune.
You're the joker, the expert, the voice, but you want up the crowd. A vision of weakness, you're dull, but your voice is so loud. I'm the butt of your joke, cause that's all more girls you hang round. You kill to make your imprint on my soul.
Welcome along to the Fans Forum. These lads deserve their own song, their own music. It is the Long Sands again, of course. So Google the Long Sands, get the music, download it. I'm still trying to persuade the lads to do a third album. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But welcome to the Fans Forum. And a 3-0 win at Sunderland. George, coming to you first. First time we played them in 8 years. And what a way to come out of that FA Cup third round tie. 3-0, comprehensive winners into the next round, draw tonight. What was your take on the game, George?
Well, it was just a very thoroughly professional performance, what I'd hoped would get from our team. They showed from the first kick the difference in class. And if Sean Longstaff had anything about him, he'd had a hat trick before half time. But you know, that's only a slightly negative dig, because they never looked like they were in trouble. From start to finish, it was black and white going forward all the time. And even in the odd times that the red and whites tried, they tried and failed miserably. And some of the much vaunted players who I've seen performing quite well on Sky in the Championship, they froze. The young age let them down. They froze completely. And I think they were in absolute awe once they started to see what our lads could do, and they were chasing their tails, and that's how they played, like a team chasing their tails. And I couldn't be bloody happier, I've got to say, of all the matches we had to win. That was it. It was a banana skin. If we hadn't turned up in the professional way we did on Saturday, we could have had an embarrassment, but it was never in doubt. From the minute they went on the field to the very last kick of the ball, there was only one team in it. There was only going to be one team in it. And watching the Sky, I don't know where Ali McCoist. I used to like Ali McCoist as a commentator, but it's funny when they're commentating on a team they used to play for, all prejudices come out. I mean, the centre half wrestled Isaac to the floor, and all Ali McCoist was saying, "Oh, that's good defending." Good defending. It was a disgrace. It was a wrestling hold. It wasn't good defending at all. And then at the end, when the other idiot, the centre back, Noon or whatever they call him, challenged Lewis Miley, he thought,
O'Neill.
Yes, O'Neill rather. You'd think he was going for the winning kick of the game. He actually could have hurt the lad. He went in so hard and so fast, it was reckless. And in another game, that same referee, a couple of nights before, had sent off Calvin Lewis for Everton for a very similar challenge. Sent him off, and yet he didn't even talk to him. He just let it go. There was bits of it which were, but the big bit is, and we've all got to be happy about this, from goalkeeper to right to outside left, all 11. It would be invidious to pick more than one out, but I've got to pick one out. And that Bruno was back on form on Saturday, wasn't he? He just controlled the whole game. They never got near him, and when they tried to, he was away with a shake of the hips like he usually is. No, it was just fantastic. Shaw was playing his long balls in for the others to run onto and worrying them to death. it just went on from that. And even Dan Burn, even when they tried to target Dan Burn was up for it on Saturday as well. He never looked like he was going to get the run around off anybody. So I'll stop there, otherwise the whole hour will disappear. But fantastic from my point of view. I can't remember in all the years that I've been going to see derbies, and you used the word, Steve, a more comprehensive win than that one. They were never in the game. They were from first kick to last. It was a black and white victory, and there was never any danger that they were going to do anything. The odd time they got through, Dubravka was on form, and that ended it. So I'll let somebody else have a go. But what a fantastic day for all of us.
Yeah, big happy birthday to Tom Lynch in the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you, Tom, at the weekend briefly, and I think you made it into the Chronicles gallery of photographs as well, mate, which was very good, good stuff. Chippers, good result. Have you got over your man flu?
My mum's got now, so swings and roundabouts. So I mean, she wants a sympathy now, but she's not getting any off me. So she gave me none, so she's not getting any off back. So yeah, it was pretty routine. It was almost like it reminded me of the Man U game in the League Cup earlier in the season where we just went there and we strolled it. We didn't have to break first gear. It was for a derby game. You wouldn't think it was a derby game for the. They didn't seem to put any fight in or anything. They seemed to just roll over for it. And I thought, well, they've gave it the big and all week that like kind of like this as Stu said last night, Jack Hott was going to do this, the Trippier Bellman was going to do this and that, and they weren't even in the game. They rarely did anything. It was great that they scored an own goal. Like, I think that was quite hilarious. I mean, with all the people, Ballard, who was a tosser all day on Saturday, who shouldn't have been on the he shouldn't have been on the pitch, but if he was on the pitch, he wouldn't have scored the own goal. So, swings and roundabouts, but it was just. Yeah, I give the penalty away as well because and then it's quite hilarious hearing Mackham say that he's one of their better players, and that's that's what he did on Saturday. It's quite hilarious. But it was like I said, it was a stroll. It was almost like a pre-season game for us. We didn't get out of the first gear. We didn't do anything stupid. We didn't get sucked into anything. We had a few go and shoved a player over, but we didn't get involved in anything hot-headed or anything. We kept with discipline. We as George said, professional, and they couldn't handle it. They froze, as George just said, the froze. We took advantage of it. We just played the game, not the occasion, and deservedly won the game. And, I expected it to win 3-1, but I didn't expect it to be that easy. I thought, they actually would put a bit of fight in, but like I said, there was nothing from them. I think that we scored the goals at the right time, just before half-time, just straight after half-time, and then the end of the game, because it deflated them completely. Even think about getting the game was over. So, and the thing is now, what I noticed as well is we've finished the game off strongly as well, where we haven't been finishing the games off. We've looked tired, heavy-legged, like we're needing to make changes. We didn't need to really make changes on Saturday, apart from Joe Linton. Yeah, we made 4 changes in the 90th minute, but I think the fact of now we've got a week for every game has like a week basis now with a week of training or a week of rest. We're going to only benefit from this now, and I think a lot of the teams in the Premier League should take note of it, because I would expect us to pick up a lot more points in the Premier League. Now we've only got 1 game a week as opposed to 3 games or just 2. So plenty of positives. Obviously, the Joe Linton injury is the only negative. Hopefully, he's okay for Saturday, but we'll see. But after that, we've got a 2-week break, so hopefully players can come back for that. So, yeah, but it was perfect. And stick up them cheesy chip lover panda pop drinkers, isn't it? And go and have a night with some seagulls, because I loved beating them. Love it.
Darren, great result, mate. Fantastic result.
I'd like to thank Sunderland for the hospitality they've got to Newcastle fans in the Black Cat Bar.
On the reg.
Rations up, and for the for the service they gave us, giving free beers, and I don't know, it must be a new thing they're doing for proper teams. So on behalf of Newcastle United, thank you, Sunderland, for that. But it was the easiest derby win I've ever witnessed. It was, like Chipper said, it was like from the first 2 minutes we passed the ball about. their right back should have been up the pitch, but the referee dropped his arse. He couldn't be. He was scared to send them off. When Anthony Gordon got yellow card, he was already on the yellow card. But Michael Beale got his tactics all wrong. Why play out from the back when Newcastle are known for putting pressure on from the off? So thank you, Michael Beale, for that, didn't he? But it was a great performance, lad. I'm just so happy I had a good drink on Saturday night. It was just nice to be relaxed and happy. And I was across Sunderland on the building site. I was whistling a song to them. And I put the heads down and crying. I felt sorry for them a little bit, like, you know what I mean? So, but I just, you know, if you watch their YouTube videos, the whole foot they're going to win 3-4 now. There must be nutties across there because they were caught. The foot, not you thought they were going to win.
Deluded, Darren. Deluded. Deluded.
Everyone you watch, we're going to back them 2-0, 1-0, or 3-0. Like you said, deluded. We're bossing from the minute 1 to the last minute. But yes, they had 3 shots. Martin DeBuck doing good saves. But it was like we're never really under pressure, weren't we? Do you know what I mean? They've only got one song, 6 in a row. Bloody hell, how long will that? I'm glad I can sing one song. But I'm buzzing, lads. I've never been so happy on a Monday morning, getting across Sunderland building site, whistling away Newcastle songs to them and hit their heads dropped down, you know.
Good stuff. I'm not sure whether Ian saw the match. Used to with the hobnobbing it with Bruno's dad.
Your best pal?
And the Mackin Slayer.
Me other best pal.
Didn't ask for a photograph with me. He just more or less walked straight past. If I hadn't made him feel
No. I was at a few. Someone went, Ian. I looked around and went, all right, mate. And then I went, oh, it was Steve.
Thing is, though, Steve, surely would have known you. We wouldn't have known him.
At least I come back. give you a bear rub, and then you went, right, that'll do.
Good stuff. What did you make of the game, mate? You were there. You enjoyed it, obviously. What did you make of it? Great day out.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I don't want to really go in on them too much because it was just different levels. You know, there was from the start. I've heard some people say after the match that we looked a little bit nervous. Or like Newcastle podcasters saying we looked a little bit nervous. But I don't know what game they were looking at. Like I were watching. We just worked our way into it. We were levels above. If they're a top 6 championship side, then the championship's levels have dropped massively. Yeah, because the championship used to be top half of the championship used to be not, nowhere near that level. I would say that they're, and I'm not being horrible here, like the young kids, like actually you've got to look at what they're doing with that, spending no money, and say they've got some good young kids there, but they were never, like you put them up against like Miley, I'm jumping on to Miley when he got absolutely launched off that bloke. I loved his reaction to it.
Yeah.
No fanning around, no rolling around like a prima donna. He just got up, dusted himself off, and carried on. And I thought, yeah, like what how proud I was of Miley at that 17-year-old. He's obviously done a bit of damage to him because his knee was wrapped up at the end, and I noticed on some of the photos he had an ice pack on his knee. So hopefully that's nothing too bad, but I'm sure it won't be. But he's already at 17. That lad's got a pair of balls on him anyway, hasn't he? So that was a good point. I thought it just went honestly like it was one of the best days I've like supporting Newcastle I've ever had. Like certainly not necessarily for even the performance was good, but not necessarily for that. Just for how good a laugh I had. It was. I never stopped laughing from the start of the day till the end, even when we were stuck in, when they wouldn't let us out and that. The amount of people that was saying like having a laugh about punching the horses and all sorts of stuff I know you shouldn't probably laugh at that, but it was just good crack all the way through. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Top day out.
Yeah, great stuff, and managing to get in and meet a few of the stars as well. It always helps. It always caps things off nicely. But it was great as well to get a bit of free drinking from the Mackins. They did roll out the red carpet.
They did, sorry, yeah. So even before the dial-up, went down, if he'd have spent a couple of quid more on his and got Virgin in or something instead of Sky, he would have made some money that day. I got, like I was saying before, I got five pints and a kebab pie, whatever that is, a doner kebab pie. It's the only pie they had left. So I thought, well, I might as well take advantage of this. I'll have that. I won't be having another. Let's put it that way. But anyway, like it was. Yeah, so we did all right on our day out. Got a free scarf as well, as everyone did, which, by the way, yeah, I thought that was a great touch. Free scarf, bottle of water, and a breakfast bar was a nice touch from the club. And, someone was talking numbers they'd spent, and I can't remember whether it was 100 grand, 30 grand, whatever it was, but they spent a lot of money on putting 120 odd coaches on, and then giving everyone scarves and stuff like that. So I just thought, looking, if I was a Sunderland fan, the way that they dealt with it against the way that Newcastle dealt with it showed the difference in the way the clubs are run.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the bus trip was something I wasn't looking forward to. Worked out all right, as you say. Lovely gesture by Newcastle United. Scarf, cereal bar, bottle of water. We didn't have to wait too long. We got to the ground okay. And then when we got to Sunderland, we were on the first couple of buses. It was quite spacious, the bar. 45 minutes to go. It was unbearable. I went up to my seat. After the game, obviously, upper level was let out first, which meant the lower level, which we came in on, which we were in, we were out second. And, the only thing I would, say Sunderland were wrong at is they didn't give any notification to the supporters that we're going to, we knew we were going to be held back, but they didn't tell us we were going to be there for over an hour. And then when we went outside, it was, it was congested. I've been in worse, so maybe the upper tier suffered a little bit more on that score. But we were the last bus, and I mean, I would rather be the first one in rather than and the last one out rather than the reverse.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it was a good day. But people are asking about the drinks. That's what happened. The cash machines went off. So basically,
I actually think I closed that, Steve, because no word of a lie, I was there with my card and my phone, and I was one of the first up there at the bar. So I was like, and I got getting served. Other people's cards worked, and then they just stopped working when I was there, or other people. And in the end, I didn't kick off or anything. I was just like, I've got cash in my pocket, but they wouldn't take cash. And I'm like, well, if you're not taking cash and my card's getting like knocked 5 times, just give us the booze, and the bloke just went off. I was like,
yeah. No, fair play to them. They did the right thing. And look, when you've got lots of hundreds of Newcastle United supporters or anyway supporters standing there wanting something to drink, and you've got drink which people want. Well, you're just going to give them. There's no real
kicking off though that I've seen. I don't know whether you've seen any different.
None at all.
It was just like there was like I did say to them a few times. I know I've got money in there. Your systems are down. Take cash. And it was starting to get on my nerves. And then they just give us the beer. So, like, it is what it is, isn't it? Yeah,
of course it is. Okay, Spenny, I've just had to mute you there because I was getting a bit of feedback from you, mate. But we'll come to you now. Yeah, 3-0, mate. I grew more confident as that game approached. And when the game kicked off, it was never in doubt.
Men against boys, simple as that, wasn't it? Very men's against boys. I'd like to congratulate ITV screening a training session on Saturday dinner time, because that's all it was, to be honest. We bullied them in the midfield. They couldn't cope with our strength. There were nothing players. All these Mackham saying these good and I good. They're all League One players. They're all League One players playing a living, and they're being very lucky with results. Sunderland's in a mess. Good style, top to bottom, and it's brilliant. I think man of the match. Are we doing the man of the match now or later?
Do it.
For me, I agree with Stu what he said last night as well. Trippier was man of the match for me. The amount of shite he got off their fans, the stupid rumours that's gone around, and the mentality of them players, which we've been saying for weeks on here, have changed. That mentality is back to what they were like in October, September time, playing games. They were ready to go. They were doing it right, and pushing forward and trying to get as many goals as possible. That's come back after 2 or 3 days of training sessions, Debat. Now they've got a full week off. Hopefully we a lot better against Man City and we proved people wrong again. I'm excited what we're going to do now, and hopefully we can push on and with that result and go back up the league where we did at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, okay, Alan. Great result, mate. It was important. Eddie Howard described it at the press conference as a potential reboot for the team. Energy levels looked up. I know the opposition wasn't as demanding as the Premier League, but the Derby game, form goes out the window. Newcastle, though, with a form team, and ultimately, you know, I was over the moon with that, and that is the reboot we needed, I think, because confidence plays a big part. You know, we know Eddie talks about the mental side of things, but that will give Newcastle United's players that confident boost, because going through that losing spell, they will have probably doubted their own ability to win another game. So ultimately, you know, now, you know, they know they can do it. They know they can keep a clean sheet. That's going to give them a big boost ahead of the game of the weekend.
It was fantastic, Steve. From start to finish, like the lads have said, basically, we sucked the life out of them. We actually passed, and the crowd were up a high at the start, and it slowly got lower and lower from the Sunderland fans because they knew the dominance we're having. I thought myself personally, I've called the lad, and I won't admit it again. Amron was outstanding for me. I thought he took the ball off their players, and the turnover he done throughout the game. It would have been Joe Linton man of the match for me if he'd stayed on the pitch. I think that's the only downside of the whole day for me, lads, going forward. I just hope he isn't injured, because we'll really need him against Man City. I thought one picture at the end of the game that'll be iconic for the rest of my life is at the end of the game when they took the picture with the fans. That was in the papers the next day. And
absolutely.
Dare I say it, Steve? They're advertising the paper, but that will be iconic picture in the memory bank in my history for years to decades to come. That was brilliant. To a man, they were brilliant. And it shows you, at least Eddie Howe, a good part of management. He left Miley out, and a lot of people would have been complaining about that, but it showed that you need experienced players in games like that. And it showed because the young Sunderland lads froze on the day. And I thought Miley wasn't as good as he has been in the past. I thought he was okay, but he wasn't brilliant. And I think the experience will do him great. But if he had played from the start, I think it would have affected him.
I agree. Alan.
I thought Eddie Howe's management in that situation was brilliant because it showed. I mean, they were building up that Jude Bellingham as if he was Jude Bellingham, and he never got a sniff. And the lad froze on the day, like if 3 or 4 Sunderland lads did. And the goal.
20 passes he had, Alan. 20 passes.
Yeah. Honestly, Ian, the golf in class, it shows you. And I think a lot of Sunderland fans are saying, why didn't we give more fight? We should have given more fight. Well, the golf in class and the quality showed, and we didn't give them a chance to show that class. And I think that's what showed to me. The golf, and I said 4-1, so I'm actually a little bit disappointed. It was only 3-0. But going forward, we've got to show this against Man City. Keep the momentum going, lads. And like Spenny says, if we keep going, you never know. I mean, Arsenal fans are in meltdown now, worse than us, and they've only lost 3 games. I suppose it depends on what your ambitions are for the rest of the season, lads. I would like to see a take of what people think is a successful season from now until the end. But getting back to the game, fantastic, and couldn't be higher. Over the moon, brilliant performance.
Okay, Kev, great stuff, wasn't it? Fantastic, great result.
Oh yeah, it was, and it was the first derby I watched with my kids. So that was the first experience for them, which will be long live in my memory, even regardless of said result. So that was a positive thing here for me. You know, I said 4-1, same as Alan, and not a little disappointed. But if we tactically got down the sides of them a little bit more, we could have had a lot more goals than what we actually did. But for me, it actually started pretty much at the kickoff, when I think Miggy won the ball back, and then we just recycled the ball and kept it. And like jumping on what Alan said, they couldn't get close to us. That's the class difference. They couldn't get close. Yeah. They couldn't provide the work rate what the fans were demanding, because we just kept it. even though like in the Sunderland fans were saying, oh well, they didn't create enough opportunities, they didn't have many shots at goal. Well, no, we made you run around that pitch like a headless chicken or seagull, and we just kept the ball. We just kept the ball from them, and that's what a Premier League team does away from home. We suffocate the atmosphere, we take the emotion out of the game, keep them quiet, and the longer it went on, the more likely it was just a matter of when, not if, we were going to score. Didn't matter how it was going to come. It was just, we just had to break them down. They just sat in, played on the counter attack, and they couldn't even do that properly. There was a few, like 5-10 minutes within the whole 90 minutes where they might have had a couple of shots of goal, roused the crowd up, fair enough. But it was just overall, the words used, classed, and the cream rises every time. And I thought they were very, very poor for where they are in that division. But it's a fabulous day, weekend actually, even for a Newcastle United fan. It doesn't matter. I would have won 1-0. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. But the more the merrier. I just think Michael Beale got his tactics wrong right from the start. I thought he could have went long, played long, didn't want to play out from the press. Well, if you play against Newcastle, try to play out from the press, you're just going to get.
We don't be concerned about them, though, their tactics.
See what?
No, forget about their tactics. I'm not too concerned with it. What he.
Oh no! But again,
if you look at it
from two sides,
but Kevin's right.
You just play along. The
goal that Almiron set up for the second goal of Isaac was just because they tried to play it out, and Almiron was on him like a flash. Like a nasty little wasp.
It was like that. It was like that old game.
Yeah.
We're known for pressing. All for the last 2 seasons, we're known for pressing players and putting pressure on them. And why they just kill it along, because it's that what the players.
And that's what I'm saying. So if you go along and miss the press and then win the second ball, which we struggled with, then they might have a bit more of a chance. And the Pritchard one, when Dubravka tipped it low, that's pretty much how they got around it all. But overall, it was nice to have a win after 8 years against that lot, and hopefully we'll meet again in some sunny day later down the road.
It would have been a lot earlier had Sunderland not decided to go 2 divisions lower. Of course, would have been a lot earlier. But yeah, I don't know when we'll play them again. It's a good point, Kev. Barry, thoughts on the game? You'll have seen this one, Barry. I would have thought, did you? Did you see the highlights?
I thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. It was just, I was quite nervous before the game, but I think that's just based on the Mike Ashley scenario of previous games against them, rather than the team that we've got now. The whole team looked class from right the way across the pitch. I thought Shaw had a cracking game. I thought Trippier was just backed a much improved player than some of the games he's played recently. I thought Longstaff had a good game, even though he missed three decent shouts. Gordon and Miggy were tremendous. They just put their 2 fullbacks under so much pressure. You could see they were starting to bottle it. Some of them were raving about this fullback that was against them, and you just thought there was nobody there worth having. They were under so much pressure that they were giving the ball away right, left, and centre. And it was just such a pleasure to watch. I thought the only one of their team was Pritchard. I thought he had a couple of decent chances and he a couple of decent touches, but the rest of them, Clark was terrible. Like the lads have said, Bellingham was an absolute joke. If Real Madrid are interested in him to play alongside his brother, God, it's only going to cost them about £6. It's not going to cost them much more than that because he's absolute shite. It was a decent match. It was well worth watching. I think for me, Eddie turned around and said exactly what we've probably been saying, that they had chance to train again and look at the difference. They've had a few training sessions together where they've getting themselves back together. They're getting a bit of fitness into the team.
A rest as well. Proper rest.
That's it. I was so happy for Isaac because he's the more he plays for us, the more he seems to be getting the idea. He's just like, and when he was, I can't remember who it was, was it the guy sliced into Gordon and he went up to him face to face? It was like, how Isaac, man, you must weigh about 6'3". I'll wet through, and he's facing up this centre. Oh, man, where's Big Dan Byrne? It's not Isaac you expect to be up there, but it just
But that's what you want, don't you? Want passion. You want your
Exactly.
back, you didn't you?
It just wasn't who I expected, Darren. You know what I mean? It's
I
like
know.
thinking Joe Linton or somebody standing up
keep
to
him
him.
on. He's helped his pal out. You know, you pushing him out, I'll knock you out. Even though he's like you say, 6 stone
It
4.
was just, it was a cracking game, lads, and they did us proud. I love the photo at the end, like you guys have said. That's going to sell some copies. I just hope they do the decent thing and maybe donate the money to charity because they'll make a bloody fortune from it. But yeah, it's the first game I can see in a while, Steve. I wish I was there with the 6,000 Newcastle fans because that one will stick in your heads for an awful long time. No matter how shite we play, I think that one will stick in your head. Look at the picture. It was just
unreal.
Like you guys said last night, the scarves and everything just looked amazing. Yeah. I'm disappointed, mate, Ian, that you weren't one of the ones who lobbed the scarf in the rafter at the Stadium of Light. I want to see how many of them are still up there.
There was a few. There was a few before we left. That was for certain. Big shout out to Martin.
I forgot to mention my funny story as well. Sorry, Steve.
Go on then.
It's Sunday morning. I've got where I live. There's like a long street. That one like bank right there. It goes up the bank. There's like loads of houses and that, terrace houses and that. I was walking along. There's a lot of muttons there along there, and as soon as it says everyone shut the bloody curtains.
Brilliant stuff. Big shout out to Martin in the chat. He's a Man U fan, but everybody's welcome in these on these shows. Good to have you on. And Andy, our regular Villa visitor, is in the chat as well, congratulating us on the win. So thank you, mate. And as I say, all different clubs fans welcome on here. We like to have a bit banter and a bit crack. And if you've got something to say or something to ask, then chuck it in the chat, and we will try and get to it. Okay, we're halfway through the show. Time for the ads.
A big thanks to all our sponsors: Skips and Bins, telephone 0800 25 45 25 3, email inquiries at skipsandbins.com, website skipsandbins.com, easy contract free and pay as you go waste collection. Thanks again to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. If you'd like to order some, then give them a call on 01768 210 102. Go to the website mrvickys.co.uk or drop them an email, info@mrvickys.co.uk. A big thanks to United Group Travel. They're a family firm based in Morpeth with pickups throughout the Northeast. No strangers on our tours, just people you haven't met yet. They've got a presence on Facebook and a website, unitedgrouptravel.com. If you want to make a booking, give them a call on 01670 632 460 or mobiles 0791 666 4174 0795 71 41654. Thanks to Darren Baldwin Funerals, independent funeral directors. Let us look after you in your time of need. They're based on Old Durham Road in Gateshead, and you can contact them at their website, darrenbaldwinfunerals.co.uk. Email darren@darrenbaldwinfunerals.co.uk or give them a call, 0191 478 2730. A big thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And a big thanks to New Workwear. You can find them at newworkwear.com. If you want to help the channel, hit the thumb up to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and share to your other social media. You can also pay a one-off fee of £25 to get a scarf, a cup, a pen, and a membership card. Go to the website, nufcmatters.com, and click membership, or put your smartphone over this QR code. We also support the food bank on this channel. If you want to make some donations virtually, go to nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk and make a donation today. We're also a podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast providers. Just search NUFC Matters. I'm also a part of the Northeast Footy Brekkie Show. You can listen to that Monday to Friday, 7 till 9 at thetooneuk.com. We've also got an event coming up next year. It's in January the 19th at the Tyneside Irish Centre. It's an evening with Nobby Solano. Tickets are available on voucher for £20. Don't forget, Supermac and Gibbo do every pre-match at Louis Liquor Store It's free entry, children welcome, and there is great food by Fed's Fried Chicken. They're usually on pre-match and sometimes post-match at Louis' Liquor Store.
Okay, welcome back to NUFC Matters. Half an hour of the show to go. And just a shout out to any fans groups out there who are based around the world. We are going to be doing a regular section where we chat to somebody from a fans group in a different part of the country or a different part of the world. So if you've got a fans group, drop us a message on the Facebook page, NUFC Matters, or contact me on Twitter at Steve Wraith, and we will endeavour to get you on so you can promote your fans group. And that leads us nicely, I guess, into the announcement by Newcastle United, George, of a fans advisory board, which came out just before the show started. So some of you may have seen the announcement. Others may not have seen the announcement. But there's a couple of faces on there. I know there's a couple of faces on there that I've heard of, and there's a couple of complete strangers. But in no particular order, your fans advisory board is Adam Stoker, Claire Wintrip, Joe Ayton, Marion Williams, Michael McCarthy, Natalie Noyes, Paul Carter, Rajat Nair, and Thomas Simmons. There is a link which I'm going to stick in the chat now, which you can have a look at, guys, whilst you're waiting to hear what George has to say. But ultimately, it's there, George. It's there now to have meetings with the club and to put fans' views across. What was your thoughts, George? I know you've had a look at it already.
As I went down the list, I said, who? What? Some of those people on there, I'm not even sure they've seen Newcastle play, have they? It just is unbelievable. And it goes back to what I was saying about the original video that they made. It was all geared towards a middle-class support group. Well, you've got a middle-class fans representative group, in my view. You have a look at what they do for a living. There ain't no shipyard workers in there, that's for sure. There ain't no coal miners in there, that's for sure. I'm not saying that that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does worry me that everything about the club towards fans now is geared to a level which is above our ordinary fans. It's geared to a middle-class fan base, and we're still not there yet. And it'll be a long time before Newcastle fans are. We'll look after each other too much to be like that. I'll be interested to hear what some of these people have to say about Newcastle United. I'll be interested to see how many of them go to matches now. Now that they're in that elevated position. But I've got to say, my first reaction was who? And it's the word hand-picked comes to mind. I'm sorry to be like that, but that's what it looks like to me. It looks like whether people were considered or not, that's a hand-picked group of people that the management think they can deal with very easily without too much trouble and can move on. Well, if that's what they want, they're welcome to it, but it won't do Newcastle United any good. The critical friends that sit here on a Monday night with us and on the other platforms on NUFC Matters are much more used to Newcastle United than that group of people you've just mentioned. They'll be kissing backsides and bowing and scraping just to get where they want to be. There'll be none of that from here, none of that from me all the years I've supported them, because I want Newcastle United to go forward in a proper way. I can't see it going forward in a proper way with that group of people. Chances, as far as I'm concerned.
Interesting. Look, I had similar kind of views chucked at me and the Fans Liaison Committee when I was part of that over 25 years ago. The Fans Liaison Committee, of course, was elected. They went through the electoral register and did it in a correct way. This has been, people have just basically stuck a CV in and the club have decided who they want. That's the way this one's been done. Yeah. This hasn't been voted for. So I'm expecting the same people who attacked me, who are still very much on a public platform, to probably attack this group as well. If they don't, I'll be questioning why. I've got to be honest. But sure. I wish these people all the best. They've put their head above the parapet. They've been given the opportunity now to put the fans' views forward. Let's see what happens. It'll be interesting to say the least. Darren, thoughts?
Just the first I've heard of it, to be fair. It sounds like a old bollocks, to be fair. What do you need?
No.
It's just it's a load of bollocks, Steve.
Well, I love it. I mean, listen. This is what this platform's all about.
I don't like the sound of it. It sounds bollocks.
Yeah.
What it need them to pass the book down because they can't be asked to do it. So that's what it sounds like, in my opinion. They're gonna have meetings. It'll be who they want. It'll be the corporate secretary who they want, not the proper fans. So yes, for me, load of bollocks.
Bill Burnett, it does say inaugural fan advisory board. Probably see how it pans out. Yeah, they've said 3 years is the term of office for people on the committee. When were the CVs requested? A few months back, before Christmas, and they might win. They certainly put it out there. The lesser spotted parapet.
I knew that.
Yeah, Ian.
I was just going to say, surely no one ever accused you of being middle class, Steve.
No, definitely not. Upper class all the way, of course.
Yeah, right, mate.
I was from Ells like me, so I'm knackered.
Plenty of posh people in Ells.
Darren, you can't even spell CV, mate. You wouldn't have been all right on there.
Fair point.
Ian, did you not consider putting yourself forward just for the free team?
Actually, it's funny because one of my really good mates.
Want so people know.
Yeah. One of my really good mates who's diehard Geordie. He's from my neck of the woods. I think he's originally Dunstan and lives up in Wickham now. He's done really well for himself. I'm not going to name him. He works, so he's a solicitor, barrister, whatever now, looking after like the Naughtians, you know what I mean? He sent me his application and said, have a look at that and see what you think. And I read it, and it was unbelievable, like amazing. As far as like he had pictorial references of him in the past, things that had happened at the Toon, things that I learned more. It took us about an hour reading it because it was that in depth, like, and it was brilliant and it was worded excellent. And he sort of talks about himself, his relationship with Newcastle United, growing up and everything. Anyway, I'll not bang on. It was if he didn't get picked for that board, there's a reason. But what he also said in it is he's not there to make friends. He wants to tell the truth because where he's from, he's done all right. You know, don't get me wrong. He's not minted. He lives near me. You know what I mean? So he's not like he's you know what I mean? He's not like some big time Charlie or anything. But he's done well, and he also he can look at it from lots of different points of view, and he goes to the match, and his name's not on there. And I did say to him, he said he'd spent so long on this. He'd spent so long on the application. He was worried about me. He said, "Don't send it to anyone, like in case someone nicked some of it." You know what I mean? And he's not on there. Now, my history only goes back to 99, really, 98, 99 with the club. Obviously, I knew the club before, but supporting Newcastle started then for me. I've never heard of any of them. Now, and I know quite a lot of people who are out of the fan base of Newcastle United, so I don't know. You know, they might be great, but the reality is there's lots of people out there who we know and who've done a lot for the club behind the scenes, like as in for the fan base and do a lot of stuff that probably would be better placed to be involved.
Okay, Barry, thoughts on the Fab announcement? Is it Fab or is it not so Fab?
It's a hard one because, like you guys, I read through it and I actually know Claire Wintrip, who's on it. I used to work with Claire.
All right, okay.
She is canny. I have nothing bad said about her. She certainly isn't the sort of person who would just be a yes person. But when you look at certainly the amount of time she's been supporting the club, I sort of thought pretty much what you guys said there is they're not people who've been there for a longer period of time. But I must admit, Steve, when it came out, I thought, do I want to put in for it? And I looked at the criteria and obviously the stuff you had to fill in the form. And I thought to myself, personally, I thought they need somebody more experienced than me, somebody with benefits of skills that I could offer the club for that type of role. And I didn't want to put in for it because I didn't think I was really sort of qualified to do it. But then when I've looked at the people they've chosen, I've thought, well, why have they chosen these people at the same time? You know what I mean? There's nothing shines out a mile that the skills that they've got that would make them stand up. I mean, I don't really understand what the point of them is. Is it another layer between the club and the, like the fans groups, or is it somebody to go to for advice? Because if it is,
sorry, Barry, can I just jump in? I don't want to interrupt. Do you not think it looks like another box ticking exercise here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on, Barry.
Possibly. I mean, how many people put in for it? You know what I mean? I've never seen anything about how many applications they actually got. I mean, if it was me personally, I would want people like George on it.
Wow.
With his experience, with his knowledge, with the amount of history he's got with the club and his passion he's got for the club, he would have been the sort of person I would have picked. Is there people like that in this group? I'm not quite sure. I don't think there is, but
well, it's worth
like
looking
you
at
guys
the
said. It's not something that people have voted for. It's people that the club have chosen. So it'll be interesting to see why the club have chosen them.
Sorry, Steve, can I just interrupt? They're chosen. The club went and spent a fortune to ask all of us what we thought about possible ground changes and all that sort of thing. Why couldn't they spend a couple of £100 and send all a piece of paper with the vote?
Lost you there, George. Your internet went pear-shaped there, George. I'll come back to you, mate. Your internet's gone for the Burton, I think. Can you hear us? No, he's gone. Chippers, thoughts on the fans group.
I had a bit of the Ian Wright Arsene Wenger moment when they said, "You know who Arsene Wenger is?" And he goes, "Who?" That's what I thought. I just thought, no offense, but who are you? Like, have you supported Newcastle before the takeover? We don't know, because I just think it's all wrong. I think it's, for me, what they should be doing is, instead of sending CVs in and everything like that, they should be getting fans in the room who, if you support Newcastle, then you support Newcastle. I mean, people have supported the club for longer than others and things like that. And, like, for me, you've got people like Kevin in America, you've got Mitch and Stu in the Middle East. People like that would be more useful than people who, we don't know anything about. People that have supported the club for a while should be representing the club, not people who are, relative information about. You need to send CVs and all that. And I mean, come on, CVs. Everyone's got different qualities and stuff like that. But all the same quality we've got is we support Newcastle and we want the club to move forward. That surely is enough, as opposed to sending a CV in, man. I mean, it's all too.
They'd have had Spenny in, except they didn't do regular sea breaks for him, so he couldn't do it.
Every 15 minutes he'll have a break. No, but like people like George who support the club a long time, and that for me would have been more useful than people who are seemingly, I wouldn't say the word middle class toffs, but that's what probably they are, unfortunately, and it's a shame. But I mean, how qualified do you have to be for these sort of rules? What qualifications are you supposed to have? Say that you want the club to do well, because essentially, if you're a fan of the club, you should want the club to do well. It doesn't matter what job you've got, if you've got a job, what qualifications you've got. You should all be pointing in the same direction. You don't need to have a CV to say that. So I just think it's a waste of time. I just don't agree. But that's just my opinion.
Your ideal for me.
Yeah, but I've been there and done it, mate, and don't want to do it again. Because the problem is when you put yourself into that kind of role. My role was a paid role. I was the fans liaison officer. The others who were voluntary, who came onto the committee as the FAB are, they are voluntary for the position. So it's the problem I had as fans liaison officer was a lot of people were against me being involved. A lot of it was down to jealousy at the time. And secondly, whenever the club do something that you disagree with, you should be able to say, well, I don't agree with this. And unfortunately, that's a big issue. I'm always going to disagree with something that the club does, and I should have a right to express that opinion. But back in the days that Freddie and Dougie, if you expressed an opinion against the regime, that they didn't want you there and they got rid of you. That's what happened to me at the end of the day.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's daft. It's daft. It's just one of the. It's just daft. It's one of them things, you know. All right, Alan, we've got about 10 minutes left. Your thoughts on this fans advisory board, as it's called?
Well, it's the first I've heard of it, Steve. Lads, to be honest with you, like Darren, the first I've heard of it. It depends, lads. Like, if it's communication between the fans, will it be, the advisory board, are they going to put notes in the program to say after every 3 months, this is happening to the club, that's happening, and what sort of questions are they going to be asking the board going forward?
Everybody buys a program. I don't buy programs.
Mm-hmm. But that's it, Darren. So obviously, is it, could it be the Chronicle? Could it be on the internet, Darren? Give the information, the communication. It's like Ian says, is it just another tick box that they've done this and these people have this advisory board but do nothing? It's all about communication, lads, at the end of the day. And like Steve just said there, if you disagree with it, it could be a big topic of name change going forward for the ground. Oh, we're going to get 20 million a year, but it's going to be called XYZ. Well, thousands of fans might be disagreeing with it. Or this advisory board going to say that to the board and say, no, we're going to stop it. It's all these expansion to the ground. Or we're going to move to a new stadium. Right? 70% of people might not want to move from St James's Park and 30. Oh, but we're going to move anyway. So what is the point of this advisory board? Is it just another layer of bureaucracy, or is it just means nothing? These people are going to stand up to the board and say, listen, 70% of fans do not want a name change of St James's Park, or they don't want to move from St James's Park, or they're going to listen. And that's the real truth of the whole matter. So it sounds good on paper, but it's like everything, you've got to give something a go. But if say in 2 years' time, we've heard nothing of the advisory board and nothing's been done and nothing's been said, or they don't communicate with the fans, well, it's just a waste of time, isn't it, lads? It's just a talking shop.
Well, basically, on the website, it says the FAB is a 9-person supporter board that was officially unveiled in November 2023 as part of the club's wider fan engagement plan. It'll be a key conduit for a two-way dialogue between supporters and the club's key decision makers, with a focus on the club's strategic vision and objectives, business operations, stadium and key match day issues, as well as any relevant heritage items, community activities, and the club's equality, diversity, and inclusion commitments. The next step is each co-opted representative will have a 3-year tenure, while all of the positions will have 2 years. The 9 members will select their chair and vice chair and will convene for the first time at an informal meeting in January 2024 before a first formal FAB meeting in February. So, yeah, it is a tick and box exercise. That is exactly what it is, I think. Spenny, thoughts on this FAB committee now that it's been announced?
I think they all went golfing and then asked each other if they wanted to go on, because it was like a golf club interview, looking at the employment status and all that. The American one, I think she must be buddies with Darren Eels. The fans advisory board, which I was explained to me, is for fans. Yes, fans who have views of how the state should, how the club should be run, what decisions should be made, what problems they've got should be addressed. So the people on that board should be the ones that's interacting with the fans, who talk to the fans, not people who sitting at home watching bloody, Gone with the Wind in New York. You know what I mean? It's a load of shit. Simple as that. It's friends with benefits. That's what FAB stands for. Yeah. Simple as that.
As I say, this is it's an open forum on a Monday night, and I thought this would certainly get the fans split. Kev,
I know Tom. He does the war flags. He's a canny lad, but he's only been going to games for 2 years.
Well, Marion Williams was on the fans liaison committee. She's a councillor.
Yes.
She lives in the heart of the city. Marion's
She's all right there.
Marion's a nice woman. I think, but I thought Marion might have felt once bitten, twice shy. I'm surprised to see Marion on it. I'm interested to see what, how it all pans out.
But the thing is, like you said, Steve, they're there for show now. They'll get a load of crap, no matter what you are, who you are, whether you're involved with that club, or what you say about that club. They'll dig deep in, the trolls and all this crap, try to make you look bad and all this crap. Their face is there. That's why I never went for it. I never went for it because I know what shit you get. It's not worth the hassle. And when you go into these meetings, everything's decided before you even sit down. So what's the bloody problem? What's the point of having it? Because the club's only going to do what they want to do anyway.
Bill Burnett, I would say you're right. Give it a chance. Let's see what happens. That's all I asked for as a fans liaison committee and the fans liaison officer job, and I didn't get a chance. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with these people. It'll be interesting.
I'd like to see the minutes of the meetings, like.
Yeah, well, that would be a start.
That's what it's all about, Ian. It's about communication, isn't it? To find out what's happening with the club. That's every fan.
The main focus in that group, what should happen was all these poor buggers has paid membership fees who trying to log into the Philly site to try to get tickets every game and don't get tickets, and you see other people going to Philly matches who don't go to any games, get Philly tickets. And we wanted that sorted out. That's what we want sorting out. Every supporter wants sorting out.
Get a ticket.
To take your son or take your friend to the match without any hassle.
Tickets are always going to be a bone of contention. Newcastle have come out and said that there isn't any favours done for podcasters and stuff. I've certainly, it'll be interesting to see how it all develops. But like Bill Burnett says, let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. It's transparency is the key. Kev, you've got the last word on this tonight before we finish.
Well, there's not much to say, really. I've been in and out a little bit, but I agree with most of what's been said. However, I've met one said person on there. I'll be careful of who, and know of certain things that this person's trying to do to get on said advisory board to try and have a certain role within the club at a higher level, which I would just say probably doesn't take a rocket scientist to work that who said that person is. And for me, the phrase is advisory board. What are these people going to actually advise? What the club already don't know.
Yeah.
And I could give advice to somebody, whether they're going to take it or not, for the length of experience I've got or not. So that's the big thing for me. What are they actually going to advise the club on? Yes, it's inclusive. It's a box ticking exercise. We all understand that, and it's it's common knowledge. But what are they going to actually tell? So, like Darren News, what he doesn't already know how to run a football club from a legal standpoint.
Before the game, I will go and actually meet one of them in the number 9 bar or in Shearer's or in the Strawberry. Not a bloody chance.
Because I'm sure somebody will tell them how to do it some other way, and they'll probably not know how to respond. It's just putting people into places to again.
Just ticky boxes.
It's what they want. It's nonsensical. It's pretty much a waste of time. But at the same time, I know of one, and not saying who, but it's trying to get into the pretty much in bed with the club as a higher level.
Yeah. What? I think we can all work it out. And I've seen negativity towards one or two rather than like the collective. So look, we're not going to go down that road on this platform. And well done, Kev, for not doing that.
Sorry, Bart, went too far, mate.
No, but listen, at the end of the day, these people have put themselves forward, and look, we'll wish them all the best. I personally do anyway. Let's see what happens. And mighty win. You're right. It's a bit unfair to prejudge. Surely something is better than nothing. Exactly. It's what I said about the fans liaison committee, but it won't.
I disagree with that.
Well, you do, yeah.
Yeah, because if it's a token shop and it's yes men and it's not doing anything and they're not getting information from the fans, really, it's just denigrating the fans. It's doing something that it's not doing. It's not doing something that it's supposed to be doing, and it isn't doing it at all. And I think that is worse than having nothing.
Okay, listen, great opinions tonight. Quickly before we finish, in one word, George, who do you want in the next round of the Cup?
Oh, anybody. In the Cup, you've got to beat them sometime. So anybody. I think if they turn up in a professional way, we're capable of beating anybody.
Anybody? Okay. No team for him. Darren, any team in particular?
I can't for the championship team at home. The dual home game.
Right. Okay. Ian.
What's it? What are they called? But the begins with a B. Was it Basingstoke or something like that? It was a
Maidstone.
Maidstone. Yeah, Maidstone. That's who I want. Let's have them at home.
I'd like Maidstone or Wrexham.
Yeah.
Chippers.
Yeah, I agree. Maidstone or Wrexham, home or away, I don't mind. We'll take them.
Barry.
Wrexham at home. I'd like to see Ryan Reynolds in the crowd.
Yeah, it'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Alan.
that would be good.
Anybody at home?
Anybody at home? Okay, Spenny.
Everton, so he scored 10 goals by Pickford and sticking up his ass and that, and when he died, so it's cost you again.
Kevin.
Liverpool at home.
Liverpool at home. I love it. Good stuff.
Right,
We'll
why
leave it
not?
on that bombshell. We'll leave the show there. Thanks, lads. Take care.
Yes,
Thank you.
boys.
Cheers. See you.
Guys.